Hello, everyone. How's it going? Happy Saturday. It is me, Victoria Baxter. And if you are seeing or listening to this on a Saturday, then obviously it is time for the Sassy Saturday Special. If you are tuning in for the first time, I am the LSDR coach. I specialize and I am certified in life coaching, singles, dating, and relationship coaching, focusing primarily on women, all from a Christian aspect, all that other good stuff. That's just the way it goes. That's who I am. You can learn more about me and the coaching at newthinglifecoaching.com. You can learn about the Saved and Single women's ministry at the jalministry.com. And clicking on Saved and Single, I'll give you more information later. I do want to mention I've been focusing on healing this month. If you have not yet registered for the Healed webinar, please do so. It is March 23rd. It is going to be at noon Eastern Standard Time. And I am going to give you some of the information that also comes from one of my healed courses. Actually, it's a course that I did for women wanting to heal. When we did it live like a few months ago, it was actually a couple of weeks of, every day there was material, there was assignments, things like that, how to heal, why healing is important, all that other good stuff. It is now an actual course that I made it. You can do it, having it information sent to you every day. You can get a workbook, or you can even get the PDF, or you can get the disc set, however you want. It's on both of the websites. But the Healed webinar, I am actually going to be taking some of that information and compiling it into a webinar. So if you don't have the time or the funds to actually get do the Healed course, then register for the Be Healed webinar. You can go to bit.ly/BBE restored, bit.ly/be restored. It'll tell you how to register and everything. Even if you're not going to be in place March 23rd at noon, you will still be able to catch it on demand as long as you register before that time. So make sure you do it. Some of you were disappointed that you missed the Loving Me webinar that I did just a few weeks ago. That is on the coaching website, newthinglifecoaching.com. When you click on Shopped, you will see it there. You can actually purchase it. You will get the same exact message that I did in the webinar. You will also still get a copy of the ebook, the exercises, the worksheets, everything. And some of you have already been taking advantage of that offer, and that is great. That makes me happy to hear. So, nevertheless, this is what I want to talk about. I said I've been focusing on healing because a lot of us have sorry, my shirt just keeps unbuttoning. But a lot of us have an issue with healing. It's something that some of us don't even know that we haven't healed from, something from the past, or something, that we've experienced, or something that we've endured. And what I actually do when I do coaching, not always with life coaching, because some people come when it has issues to do with purpose or something like that. But when I'm doing singles, dating, and relationship coaching, anything that you are now talking about, sharing your life, and your heart, and actually being in a relationship. And I am an enlightened relationship workshop facilitator. I got certified to find out actually and exactly what a healthy relationship should look like. So I like looking at those things, and what I use when I do coaching for those things, because again, healthy relationships, enlightened relationships, you have to understand your partner, you have to understand each other, but you first have to know yourself. You first have to have a sense of self-awareness and be aware of who you are to the core, your core identity. One thing that I do when I do my coaching for singles, dating, and relationships, I use something that I call the H3 approach. And I say H3, and clients, those of you who have done it with me before, you know that I focus on this a lot. But the H3 approach is household, habits, and heaven. Household, habits, and heaven. And I know what those things mean. My clients know what those things mean. But here's why I want to talk about healing so much this month, because of that first one, household. It's crucial because we have to look at, what did we see in the house growing up? So many things that we experienced in our household, they are marking and kind of determining who we are today, and they have some type of effect on us. It's crucial to understand. And I know it makes people a little bit uncomfortable in the individual sessions when I start digging and prying a little bit, because I need to know where you came from. I need to know what you saw. I need to know, what was mommy like? What was daddy like? What other men were around? What other women were around? Like, what do you know as far as romantic relationships? Because those things affect us greatly. Here's a fact that some of you may or may not know, and I know I've talked about this before. I don't know if it was, I don't know, video or whatever else. But here's something. The relationship that you have with the same sex parent is what dictates more of who you are as a person, just kind of in general. But the relationship that you have with the opposite sex parent is oftentimes what dictates your romantic relationships. And that is actually true. And I talk so much about that in the healed course, y'all, like so much. But again, when you hear people talk about mommy issues and daddy issues, that's why, like, those things affect us greatly. Like, those things, they determine so much about our relationships. Now I'm going to talk to the women, because a lot of us, again, it's all because of who our father was or wasn't, what we did or didn't see. It's in some way determined the kind of men that we have dated, the kind of men that we have been in relationships with, the men that we have ran from or ran after, accepted proposals from, married, whatever else the case might be. Last week, go watch it, listen if you have not already. But what I talked about last week was lies from the mother, talking about mommy issues and how those things affect us as well, and what mommy did or didn't tell us, and how we saw things, we interpreted things and whatever, and how a lot of us took and take those things into our relationships. This week is actually titled But My Daddy. But My Daddy, because what I'm realizing is that a lot of women, even though they might not verbally state but my daddy, a lot of their issues and a lot of the things that they are struggling with in their romantic relationships, and the kind of man that they desire, it's because of who their daddy was. And some of the things that we don't even realize, that we may not even necessarily agree with it, or somebody might point something out to us. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. If somebody might, maybe point something out to us, or whatever else, but we'll justify it. We'll have a reason for why we are that way. And what we're really saying is, but my daddy. Like, it's because of my daddy. Like, something that has to do with why we allow a man to stay, why we allow a man to walk all over us, why we walk away from a man, why we married that man, and everybody else is saying, hey, what is wrong with you? That was a good guy, you should have given him a chance. Or, hey, he's the bad one, you need to get away from him. Or, hey, why are you chasing after these men? Hey, why do you find yourself, having sex with all of these men, being promiscuous? Or, you have people that sometimes want to know things that maybe verbally they're not stating these things to you. Maybe it's behind your back. Maybe it's indirectly and they're beating around the bush. Maybe they have asked you and you don't like the question. And we'll oftentimes have a reason on why it is, not even realizing that somewhere in our minds as a little girl, for a lot of us, I'm not going to say, it'd be crazy for me to say everyone, but somewhere inside of us, there is a little girl that's saying, but my daddy. It's because of what my daddy did. It's because of what my daddy didn't do. And it's not always a bad thing. Look at this. A lot of men are making sure that they are spoiling their daughters, right? From a young age, treating them a certain way, and, hey, taking them on little daddy-daughter dates. And now they have like the daddy-daughter dances and stuff like that. And, fathers are making sure that opening doors, and doing certain things, and, or whatever else the case might be, or maybe because, I don't know. So they're seeing those things, and it's like, hey, well, I know the kind of man my daddy was, so all I know is my husband better do X, Y, Z. Some people say, hey, I mean, you're entitled, you expect a little too much, and in your mind is, hey, but my daddy showed me how a man is supposed to treat a woman. But my daddy was the one who let me know, don't let anyone disrespect you. So for some of you, it is a good thing. Now, for some people, it's almost like their daddy set the bar super high, and even a little bit intentionally, but saying, hey, if nobody else can meet what I do, or at least meet me there or do it better, that's no one you need to mess with. Now, that's up to you. Again, you got to use your own discernment. I will say dating without discernment is dangerous. That's something you have to make the decision and determine, is it worth it to maybe date this person or be in a relationship with this person? They're not quite like daddy, but my daddy said, so I don't really know. Now, here's something that I like and I found a little bit interesting. I don't know if any of you all watch Married at First Sight the way that I do. I love Married at First Sight. And it is a reality show, and it's just exactly what it says. They get married at first sight. Like, they sign up to get married. They realize that they're not doing a good job as far as dating is concerned. So it's putting the fate of their life, their marriage, in the hands of these experts that are doing this, the psychological or psychiatric, what is it, psychological psychiatric evaluations, I can't even think right now, but doing the evaluations, mentally, emotionally, stuff like that, asking them questions, sex, religious preferences, race, all this other stuff. Like, what are your values and morals and beliefs, and matching them with somebody. But you find out 2 weeks before you get married, hey, we found a match for you. You're getting married in 2 weeks. And then that's when, all this goes, you don't get the name, you don't get a picture, you don't get anything. They actually meet their spouse at the altar. And it's a very interesting show. I love it. I've been watching it for all of the seasons that they have done thus far. Every single one. I always watch the show. I love it. I love this season right here because there's this one woman who, for her, initially she was feeling her husband's feeling her. Seems like everything's going to be good to go. They finally have that talk and that discussion, and only to find out they don't agree on how finances should be run. And for him, he's just like, oh no, he's like, I think everything should be 50-50. But for her, she's like, no, sir. But my daddy showed me how things are supposed to go. But my dad, so things like that, of course, that can be a little bit hard because, hey, you're married now. So they are, trying to compromise and work through that and come to a common ground, all of the good stuff. So some of us, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's just make that clear, but it's something that it's all because of daddy. And you have to keep in mind that maybe something that worked for your mom and dad, or your dad and the stepmom, or your dad in general, maybe that's not who you're going to meet. A lot of times we marry a man that has something to do with our father. Either we marry someone who is the complete opposite of our father because we want nothing like him. We did not like our dad. We did not have a great relationship with our father. So we go out of our way to marry someone who is different. Now, for some of us, we loved our father. We married a great man. Our father was a great man. So we marry someone who is just like our father. What's interesting is that you have another group of women. They didn't even realize how their father and his presence or lack thereof, his attitude, his behaviors, whatever else, was affecting them negative. There were some things that they did not like about their father, but guess what? They still go on to be with the man who was just like them. There are some women, they saw their fathers beat the crap out of their moms. And they go through these things, and for them, it's like, hiding in the closet, crying, experience, certain things, and then they grow up, even though they're telling themselves, I'll never deal with that. I'll never be with a man like that. Probably had mommy saying, hey, don't ever let a man put his hands on you. But that goes back to lies from the mom. Well, you can tell me whatever, but I'm going to copy what I see you do. And I saw you do it. So I know I said I would never be with a man that beats me, but my daddy beat my mom. So then some of us find ourselves in abusive relationships. Maybe not physically abusive, maybe mentally, emotionally, whatever, verbally, any type of abuse, because my daddy. There are a lot of women who their dads were not there. They just weren't there, and they wanted that love, and they never got that from their father. It's like, I just want love. I just want to know that someone cares. I want a man to whatever else. And some women they're very promiscuous, and they have sex with different men and whatever. Why? But my daddy wasn't there to love me, and I'm determined I'm going to get love some way or another. Again, like I just said, abuse. You got other people say, hey, don't allow a man to put his hands on you or whatever else. Even if a friend never says it, or because maybe no one knows that you're experiencing that, or that you have experienced that, or whatever else. But some of us, we don't say anything because we know that we need to get out of it or whatever else. But my daddy did it, so it's normal for me, and that's what I know. That's the only way I've ever seen a man treat a woman. For some of us, it's your daddy didn't show you at all how a man is supposed to treat a woman, so you have no idea. For you, maybe you saw mom, like I've talked to you, saw mom do everything. She did it well, and she made certain decisions and calls in the house and whatever else. So all you know is independent, and maybe you have children, or you saw your mom do whatever with children, so all you know is taking care of somebody. Why? Someone could be thinking, hey, that's not the way it's supposed to go. You're not supposed to. Yeah, but my daddy wasn't there. He didn't show me how to treat a woman. He didn't show me how a man is supposed to treat a woman. But he did. In some way, you learned something because it dictates a lot of your relationships. Maybe none of these scenarios apply to you, but I would dare you to think about the kind of man your father is or was and compare that. Think about his personality. Think about his presence in your life and think about the things that you would have wanted to see him do or not do or whatever else. And now compare that. Think about the last guy you dated or you were in a relationship with. Think about how they line up. And then go to the guy before that, the guy before that, the guy before that. My dad wasn't in the house. So I was used to a man not being around. And for the most part, even though I kind of wanted my dad there, I was okay with him not being there. Even though I now dated men who they weren't always there, that was a little bit normal to me. I didn't realize that honestly until about maybe a couple of months, a month or two ago or something, where it kind of hit me. I think when I was doing a video or something, I was like, wait a minute. That's why it was almost normal in a sense for me to be involved with the man who maybe didn't give me everything. He would breadcrumb me a little bit. You know, bread, that's one of the new dating terms. It's saying, hey, when a guy is, and sometimes females do it, but it's like they're tossing you just enough breadcrumbs just to kind of keep you interested, just to have you not go completely away and to leave them or whatever else. And so sometimes I was okay in some situations accepting whatever I got, still wanting more of the man, but I allowed it and I said I was okay with it. But my daddy, because my daddy, that's why I was okay, but I really wasn't. That's what I just want you to think about. And I'm going to close this out. Think about what you saw with your dad and how that might compare to men that you've dated and men that you didn't date. Because I've talked about that before too. I never really saw a healthy relationship. I never really saw the way that a man was supposed to treat a woman. So when I had what could have been healthy relationships and great men pursuing me, it was abnormal for me. So think about that. That's it. I had told you all previously that I would answer some questions when you email them to me. And I got one that I really did want to address because I actually had this same conversation with a friend over the phone. A lot of you tuned in when I did a coaching call a couple of weeks ago on ghosting, talking about the mystery of ghosting, why men oftentimes ghost women, and you know what it is that we're doing wrong and stuff like that. And you know, talk again, ghosting, for those of you who maybe you don't know, it's pretty much when you're dating a man, maybe even in a relationship, and it seems like everything is going good, and then boom, they just disappear, vanish into thin air, literally. Like you really saw no warning signs. It's not like they told you, hey, leave me alone, hey, I'm done, hey, I'm not feeling you. You had no idea what happened. It was just like boom, they were gone, and now you're left trying to figure out why. That is what ghosting is. So in that call, I gave reasons. I gave some reasons on why it happens. And I talked about, you know, some of the things that we do to make it worse. If you want the information, email me. I'll send you the code if I can. I was gonna say I'll post it in the comments, but I'll probably forget. Email me if you want it. I'll send it to you. So here's the thing. I talked about some of those things and what a woman sent me. I'm just gonna give you one line from the email. I tuned in when you discussed ghosting, but I wanted more on why they do ghosting. ... She wants to know, like, hey, I wanted a little bit more. And I had a friend that said the same thing to me. Here's what I want people to understand. I am all for women who are trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong? Why am I still single? You know, I want to meet somebody, whatever. Those are the women that I love. Those are the women that I am passionate about teaching and ministering to and coaching and whatever else. So what I had to kind of do in that was, I wanted to give the history. I did give some of the reasons on why men do it. But of course, for me, maybe it's because I'm an overthinker. So I don't ever want to give too much information to the point where I didn't want to leave any women with more, with more questions than they had answers. Because I could go through the list of all the different reasons. But for some of you, there is one person that ghosted you and you're still trying to figure out why. And I don't want to go, well, it could be this, it could be this, and some men do it because this, because now that's for you. It can end up causing more pain and more, I don't want to say damage, but more issues. And that's why I was a little bit hesitant. But I will answer this, and I again, I don't even remember what all reasons I gave in the coaching call. There are a lot of reasons on why men do it. And again, I did take time to find out some of these things, especially with doing, again, going and getting, certified to become, doing the dating coach. And I explained that in the coaching call as well. My professor that I actually, I got certified for being a certified dating coach. My professor was a male, and he was a male who has been coaching men for over 13 years. So I was able to learn a whole lot about men and why they do certain things. And some of the reasons I gave, and I'll try to give some more now, some they're just not into you. And a lot of men don't like confrontation. So they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to be done and let that be whatever. Sometimes it's just dating. And that's why I always say dating, we have to be clear on what dating is, because some of us, we think when we're dating someone that it's like the step before being exclusive. And that is why it is important to have these conversations with people that you are dating, because while they are dating and getting to know you, they might be dating and getting to know somebody else. And maybe you didn't make the cut. I don't mean that to sound harsh, but maybe after a while they like it was somebody else they were dating and they really wanted something serious with the other person and not you. Some men, it's something negative that you did and they would rather just be done because it's like, hey, that's who she is. I'm not going to try to change her. I'm done. Some of these men were already showing you signs, but we don't always take a hint, or we think, oh, he'll change, or I can change him, or whatever else. Some men, for them, they do get scared because it's like, hey, that's a good woman. I don't know if I'm ready, or I might hurt her, or let me take a step back and process that. Now, here's the flip side of it. What happens sometimes is the man will back away a little bit because he's trying to whatever. We think that we're being ghosted. Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. So we now become aggressive. It's mania. It's called mania love. We become a little bit manic because now it's like we're blowing up the phone, calling, texting, doing all these little crazy things. And for them, it's a little bit scary. That's going to make them back up, because now it's like, oh, I didn't know she was crazy. I'm done. I'd have got to tell me that before, being honest. He's like, okay, I just needed a minute to process some things. He's like, but you acting crazy and I don't do crazy. I was like, oh, I'll show you crazy, because I did not get whatever. But praise God. But then for some of them, they back up a little bit because they're trying to whatever. And then for some of us women, we don't chase. It's like, hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to keep reaching out. He's kind of showing me where he stands. So some women end up backing up a little bit as well. But for the man, they now feel rejected. For them, it's like, oh, she doesn't need me. She doesn't want me. Their egos are bruised. So then all because they backed up and then you backed up. Well, guess what? Now he is reacting to you backing up. So he is now going completely ghost, because there's the fade away where they start to back up a little bit. And then ghosting is when it's like, poof, pow, be gone. So there are so many different reasons. And it's hard to pinpoint each individual, whatever, when, yeah, because I don't know your exact situation. I don't know. Some of you have been ghosted repeatedly. And one thing I talked about, you have to examine, again, you're obviously the common denominator. You got to think about, what is it that I'm doing or putting off or portraying in order to have, this keeps on happening to me, where after the first date they're done, or by around date 2 or 3. Like, it's something you have to look to figure out, what am I doing? It's something. That's all I can really say. Okay, I don't know. It might be something. But as I always say, and I'm going to wrap this up, I am all about Christians dating. There's nothing wrong with dating. But if it's ever to the point where, again, you're constantly getting ghosted, we got to figure out what the problem is. If you're somebody, you still have some healing issues, you don't need to be dating. If you do not have discernment, you don't need to be dating. If you don't trust yourself to not have sex, maybe because some of you, you're doing the whole abstinence thing. Hey, we're starting the purity journey April something. April 4th. I don't know. I think it's like the first Monday. But Purity Journey, feel free to join in for those who are saying, hey, I'm struggling, or hey, I need help with this, or I want to take the first step, or I've been, a virgin for a while or abstinent for a while, and I'm whatever or whatever. But it's going to be like an ebook coaching. There's a free copy of the book Purity Oil, whatever else. You can register for that at going to bit.ly/the Purity Journey. Bit.ly/the Purity Journey. Join in for that. Some of you are knowing, hey, that's something you're struggling with. So it's like, I don't need to be dating. And you don't need to be dating. If you know that there's a chance you are going to end up in bed with someone and you're already struggling with your purity, then don't even do it. Because that's what I had to do once I was doing y'all already know the story. I'm not even going in all that anyway. So there are a couple of different things. Your issue might be isolated. Please, let's work together. Let's figure out what these issues are. Again, I do a lot of group stuff. I do individual as well. And if you're just realizing, hey, I suck at dating and I'm trying to do it right as a Christian woman, that is where I come in to play. That is what I am passionate about. As I always say, I am all about where what? Culture and Christianity collide. There's a way that we can, I don't want to say be in the world, but there are things that the world is doing. They're doing it incorrectly. There is a way to date as a Christian. There is a way to have fun as a Christian. There's a way to have a romantic relationship as a Christian. And I can help you with that. You can schedule with me. Hey, maybe you just want to do a consultation call and you're just trying to see, hey, how can you help me? Or, is this a good fit? And I told y'all, stop trying to book consultation calls just to pick my brain for 15 minutes. The consultation call is, let me find out what your issues are. And then you can also talk to me and we can find out, is this a good fit? Can I help you? And for some of you who are wanting dating coaching, I'm like, hey, well, maybe you need to do like more of like the singles coaching. Because when I do dating coaching, that's saying, hey, all right, let's talk about your dates. Let's go back. Let's look at the past couple of dates, past couple of men. Let's find out what you're doing wrong. I want to talk to you after the dates. Like that's me showing how to get a date, how to get a second and third date, what not to do on dates. Like that is all about dating. All about dating. But singles coaching is a little bit different. That's saying, hey, I'm a single woman, but now let's go through some of these issues before I even quite get to the dating point. So again, doing the consultation call can help me determine what are your needs, what are you trying to get to, and where do you stand. And it's also a way for you to say, hey, before I pay this lady some 3 or 4 figure amount, let me see if I like her. Let me see if I think she can help me. So that 15 minutes is really for us to just kind of talk, pick each other's brains a little bit. Do that as well. Bitly, I love Bitly because it gets to this little bits of the links. Bit.ly/try me girl. That's exactly what it is. Bit.ly/try me girl. Because I guarantee I've never met a person, and I've not been doing coaching for long, but because dating coaching is something that a lot of people, Christian dating coaching, it's why I've been coaching and communicating with more people. I've never, not yet, knock on wood, come across somebody that I can't help. Because most people, if they are willing to sign up and pay you, it's because they feel like this person can really help me. I've never met a person that I've not been able to help. However, I have met people that have come to me for one thing, and I had to say, no, you need to back up. You need to be here. You're not there yet. I know you wanted dating coaching, but if I see that there are some issues and some daddy issues and some mom issues and some healing, and you're still holding on to anything, either you're going to agree to go to singles so we can work on some other stuff, or then I'll decide I don't want to work with you. And I've not had that happen yet. But whatever. Try me, girl. Because I promise I will get you results. Whatever it is that you want, or you sick of dating, you're just trying to be better as a single woman, or whatever else, all of that other good stuff. We can do it. All right. But thank you all for tuning in. God bless you all. Again, learn more about the ministry at the jalministry.com/saved and single, or saved-single, or click on saved and single when you go to the website. Okay. newthinglifecoaching.com. You can learn more about the coaching, and you can see all the different coaching packages that I have, and the plans, the products, the services. All the courses are there on the website as well. Both of those websites, there are 3 different things you can subscribe to. I know I'm busy, but you can subscribe to the JAL ministry in general. You can subscribe to SAS. You can subscribe to New Thing Life Coaching. The ebook is also on the website. Some of you wanted the ebook, but not the actual Loving Me webinar. I did the book Journey of Love, and it's just that. It's just talking about God's love, self-love, the different types of love, the love languages, how I said that I was going to go forth and love this man, because I just wanted to try to prove that love was a choice. Read the ebook. It's on both of the sites. Okay. Y'all enjoy y'all Saturday. God bless. Bye bye.